Shalom. First and foremost, to begin by giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles. It was a great millstone. And Shabbat Shalom to the hopefully elect. Alright, so it's a video I saw a little while ago. This interview came out maybe last week, maybe. But they were having a conversation, which I'll play after this. They were having a conversation about Israel, as in the land that the small hatters are in, right? The current state of Israel, right? And how, well, this guy right here, who's a senator, he talked about how the scriptures say that we must bless them, right? That was a part of his defense. Well, matter of fact, you're gonna hear it. So I'll let it play.
Growing up in Sunday school, I was taught from the Bible, those who bless Israel will be blessed, and those who curse Israel will be cursed. And from my perspective, I want to be on the blessing side of things.
Of those who bless the government of Israel?
Those who bless Israel is what it says. It doesn't say the government of it, says the nation of Israel. So that's in the Bible. As a Christian, I believe that.
Where is that?
I can find it to you. I don't have the scripture off the tip of my. You pull out the phone and use the Google.
It's in Genesis. But so you're quoting a Bible phrase. You don't have context for it and you don't know where in the Bible it is, but that's like your theology? I'm confused. What does that even mean?
Tucker.
I'm a Christian. I want to know what you're talking about.
Okay. Where does my support for Israel come from? Number one, because biblically we're commanded to support Israel. But number two.
Hold on.
Hold
on. You're a senator and now you're throwing out theology and I am a Christian and I am allowed to weigh in on this. We are commanded as Christians to support the government of Israel?
We are commanded to support Israel. And what
does that mean, Israel?
We're told those who bless Israel will be blessed.
But hold on, define Israel. This is important. Are you kidding? This is a majority Christian country.
Define Israel? Do you not know what Israel is? That would be the country you've asked like 49 questions about.
So that's what Genesis, that's what God is talking about.
The nation of Israel, yes.
So is that the current borders, the current leadership? He's talking about the political entity called Israel?
He's talking about the nation of Israel. Yeah, nations exist, and he's discussing a nation. A nation was the people of Israel.
Is the nation
They're the descendants
God's
of Abraham.
referring to in Genesis, is that the same as the country run by Benjamin Netanyahu right now?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
And by the way, it's not run by Benjamin Netanyahu as a dictator. It's a democratic country that elected.
He's the prime minister.
Right.
What?
But just like, America is the country run by Donald Trump. No, actually, the American people elected Donald Trump. The same principle is there.
This is silly. I'm talking about the political entity of modern Israel.
Yes, and that is
believe
Israel.
That's what God was talking about in Genesis.
I do, but
that country's existed since when?
For thousands of years. Now, there was a time when it didn't exist, and then it was recreated just over 70 years ago.
I'm saying, I think most people understand that line in Genesis to refer to the Jewish people, God's chosen people.
That's not what it says.
Okay, Israel, but you don't even know where in the Bible it is.
All right, so as you've seen, he's claiming that his one of the bases of his support of the state of Israel comes from the fact that the scriptures tell them to bless Israel, which I assume he's referring to Genesis 12, right? But the point is, the irony is, these small hatters, these JOOs, they are not the true people of that land. Is there an Israelite in that land? Maybe. But the nation of Israel has not been brought back to that land, right? Back in 19 1917 with the Balfour Declaration. That's when all the bull jive started. That's when all that started, right? With the Rothschild. I don't know if I want to say the name. Might be a trigger for you too, but the Red Children, which is honestly, I think that's what that word actually means, if I'm not mistaken. But when the Red Children, which is clear, Esau, Edom. Matter of fact, let me check that. Let me check that right quick, because I think that their name goes into that. Roth means red. Red child, like I said. So yeah, it's clear that that's Esau, Edom. You know, they're red. But what was I saying? Yeah, you know, with the Balfour Declaration, that's when they try to take over that land, so on and so forth, and they became a state in 1948, right? What is that? That's a little over around 70 years ago, right? But they're not the true people. They should not have been able to go back into that land if they were the true people of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua, right? They shouldn't be there, right? And there's many signs to prove that they should not be there, or to prove why they aren't the people. A, which I've said multiple times already, they shouldn't be there. B, if they are supposed to be there, then there should be no wars. There should be no conflict. They should be able to dwell safely, as the scriptures say, because this is all about prophecy, right? Prophecy is all that matters. Prophecy says what? When the Israelites are back into the land, back in the Holy Land, they're going to do what? They're going to dwell safely. They're going to rule forever. Israel is, they look. I mean, just look at them. They're at war right now. But let's get to the scriptures. Let's get to the scriptures. So I got a couple. Because I really plan on this to be short and sweet. So this is Matthew 24:31, right? And this is speaking to what? The glorious return. The return of who? The Son, Yahweh Shah, right? Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shah, right? Yeah, I started 29 since it's, all under the same title. So Matthew 24:29, it says, immediately after the tribulation of those days, right? Speaking to, up here, Jacob's trouble, the great tribulation, right? It says, I start from the top. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. Who is the Son of Man? Come on, Yahweh Shah, right? It says, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. And this has not happened yet. Yahushua has not came back yet. He's going to be the one to gather his elect. He's going to be the one to gather Israel back together, right? It's going to be him. That has not happened, right? This is Jeremiah 23:6. 3, and what do I want? Slovakia. Con. Well, let's see where we want to start. Let's start verse 3. It says, "And I will gather the remnant of my flock out of all countries whither I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase." Right? Where has he driven? What happened to Israel? We were scattered. First, the northern kingdom did what? They left. They went. They came over here. Right? To a land which their fathers had not known, roughly paraphrasing. The northern kingdom left. The lost tribes. Right? The Jews, the southern kingdom, what happened with them? 70 AD, which Yahushua prophesied about, temple destroyed by the Romans. They were dispersed. They went up into the lands of the Rome and so on and so forth. But we have ever since we have not the true Israelites were not able to return because, as we finna keep reading, Jeremiah 23 and verse 4, he says, "I will set up shepherds over them which shall feed them, and shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking, saith the Lord. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, where I will raise unto David a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice in the earth. In his days Judah shall be saved, and Israel shall dwell safely. And this is his name, whereby he shall be called the Lord our righteousness." So if we were supposed to be back in that land, right, where that righteous branch, that king shall reign and prosper, right? Who is this king? Yahushua, of course, right? The seed of David. He's the judge, right? All power is given unto him, right? Then let me back up. If Yahushua is supposed to be here, right, when Israel is back in their land dwelling, how can they be the people of that land? It makes absolutely no sense. How can they be the people of their land? Right? And this is the last one I'm going to get because it's really quite simple. Because this is exactly what they did. Them and the British. Along with, people of Palestine, whatever. But this is Ezekiel 36 and 5. Yeah, I'll just read 5. It says, "Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, surely in the fire of my jealousy have I spoken against the residue of the heathen, and against all Idumea," who is Idumea, Esau, Edom. It says, "which have appointed my land into their possession with the joy of all their heart, with the spiteful minds to cast it out for a prey." Who did this? Esau, Edom. Again, if you know your history, going back to that 1917, with the Balfour Declaration, Britain had already had that land in their possession after I can't remember if it was before or after World War One, with the fall of the Ottoman Empire, right? If I'm not mistaken. But again, don't just take my word for it. Do the history, do the research. But yeah, the British had that land, Esau, Edom. And then what? They gave it to Amalek. They gave it to these these imposters, to make it simple. They gave it to these imposters, man. But I mean, it's prophecy. You can't beat prophecy. Prophecy doesn't change. So they can't be in the land. If they're going through wars, so on and so forth, then they can't be the people. They can't be the people. They can't be the true. They can't be the true Jews. But it's just kind of funny because this was pretty ironic how he's talking about protecting the Jews, but they're not supposed to. They're the wrong people. They're the wrong people. And it was something else when I was doing a little bit of research. I can't remember what I saw. Oh yeah, this is just funny. That's what was funny. Because I often forget. Well, not often forget, but sometimes I do forget that the small hatters don't even believe in Yahushua being the Savior. And yet these people here, these two, I don't know what I want to call them. These two people claiming to be Christians are saying that this is the type of people that you should support. You should support a people who don't take heed to the scriptures, to someone who denies the scriptures, to someone who denies who Yahushua is. You're supposed to support them and help. That makes no sense. But that's how you know it's all a big hoax. It's all a hoax. It's all a joke. They know, we know that they are not the true people. They're not the true Israelites. But, it is what it is. Until Yahushua come back and smite these people, dash their babies, right? Those dyed garments from Basra, which he's not going to have no blood on him, right? But you get the point. Until that happens, when he comes back and destroys this wicked nation, Babylon, America, until that happens, the true people are not going to be in that land, man. And he hasn't come back yet, right? He's on his own timing. So, Lord, when it was edifying. With that, we're going to give our praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom to the hopeful elect.